Don't blink, it should blink. Welcome to the show. I'm doing well because I'm having a wonderful day on this 15 June 2025. Today we're doing a little bit of a video that is super cool. And that little bit of a video that is super cool is for Father's Day, actually. It's a Father's Day special. I've been living a very secluded life, and even as a kid, I didn't really have people to talk to. So when I started talking to people, it was kind of cool, because I was like, holy shit, I can share my life. But I wasn't the best listener. Now, fast forward years and years and decade later, and I'm a better listener, not the best, but still kind of learning his way through life. And lately, I've been talking to a lot of people, and most of my demographics are younger, which is cool, which is normal, I believe. And a lot of them don't have this great experience with their parents, their dads. I'm lucky I have amazing parents, both my mom, my dad, the mailman, very nice guy, very nice guy. I don't know why he's my parents, but hey, more presents for Christmas, I guess. More Christmas present, I guess. So I was asking myself, how do we do it, right? So in my case, I had really good role model, right? And that was teacher. They were teacher. They were older brother. They were older guys. And when I mean older, I was 13. They were possibly 25, 28, taking care of me and helping me out and teaching me life as a bigger brother, you know. And then these were also role models that were acting as a this is gonna be the most misogynistic video that I ever done. They taught me how to be a better man. Do I think a woman can teach me how to be a better man? Yes, absolutely. A better man for me is loving. A better man for me is to be a father, to be a parent. So yes, a woman will help me in those regards. However, do I think that a woman can teach my ways of masculinity? No. Do I think that society has expectation as far as male? Yes. As providers, financial provider, there's still this idea that men are supposed to be making more, right? There is some expectation, societal expectation, which I guess are normal, to be honest, right? I guess are normal, to be honest. But there's a lot more regarding that. And then this morning, something happened that was really cool. Really cool. Oh, I got a text. Sean Guy, thank you so much for the follow, dude, on YouTube. Thank you so much. So something happened that was perfect. Fortnite released some dad's skin. Now, the dad's skin was whom? The dad's skin was Cleveland Brown. It was Hank Hill. It was what else? It was, oh my god, Bob Burger. So I'm tired today. I'm tired. And then Yadi came to me. All of those people that didn't have a father figure, all of those people that didn't have access to a friend that I had, all those people that were looking for a way to learn masculinity, who was the best father figure in my life when it comes to anime, when it comes to cartoon, when it comes to books. And yeah, there's definitely some of them. We'll talk about them. I think I have to go. By the way, I was born in the 90s, so this is really cool. This is really important. We'll give each category a father figure. Anime wise, as a father figure, I think I'm gonna have to go with Isshin Kurosaki, which is the father of Ichigo Kurosaki and Bleach. Now, I'm gonna have to give it to him because he's a dumbass. He is a complete dumbass. He is embarrassing. He is cringe. He's so fucking funny, and he's such an embarrassing, right? And then, it is so beautiful. As a story. To me, this is a real dad. This is a sacrifice. To me, and that sacrifices things, you know. It's being a man, being a strong man is sacrificing your health, your mental health, because nobody cares about how you feel, right? And Ishin Kid Kurosaki is amazing because he presents himself as this fucking clown. Because when the mom of Yuru, I don't remember the name. Holy shit, that's bad. I don't remember the name, which is sad. Ishigo and Kaiden, yes. She died. The kids were always crying, so he made them laugh. If you go to One Piece, one of the favorite character, one of the fan favorite is Senior Pink. Senior Pink, which is a fucking douchebag. So Senior Pink is this character that is wearing a baby costume. A baby. He's dressed as a baby. Like, what the hell is that? Well, then you learn his backstory. How his wife, they had a child and they lost a child, and since then she's been depressed. And the only way that he has to make her laugh is to wear a baby costume. It's like, holy shit, this is kind of intense, This is kind of intense. But at the same time, it's he sacrificed himself. He really willing to look like a fool to help her out. Ishin is the same way. Willing to look like a fool. Now the best thing about Ishin isn't that. The best thing about Ishin is there's a way where he's an amazing dad. For example, when Ishigo goes to the Soul Society, he gives them protection. He gives them protection, which is a soul break weapon. 1, 2. When you realize that he is a captain, he is a badass. And then when Ishigo's like, why didn't you tell me that you were a soul reaper? And then he doesn't say that, but the way he said it, it's like, you didn't need a soul reaper, you needed a dad. And I was a dad. To me, that was amazing. It's like a character that you don't think has a value, but when he does show up, he does show up. And that's my father. My father is super strict. Sometimes an asshole, but when he needs to show up, he does show up, Cartoon, I'm gonna have to go with Homer Simpson. You see, Homer Simpson to me is the perfect dad. And I know this sounds crazy, but it is. He's a dumbass. He's flawed. He is really dumb. And there's also this perception with cartoon. This is something that I kind of have a problem with. If you look at anime, all the fathers are badasses. If you look at One Piece, the father of Luffy is Dragon, badass. If you look at Naruto, his father was a fourth Hokage. If you look at if you look at Berserk, the father of Guts, the adoptive father, sold him for prostitution when he was a kid. He got his kid to be not really raped, but he sold him to prostitution. He was an asshole. But then it was the picture perfect. And this is insane, but the fact that the adoptive father of Guts sold him for prostitution makes Guts realize that this is a cold world. So at a young age, he's like, okay, well, this is me for myself. And he just killed him. And then when you look at Berserk, it's a dark fucking place. It would make most people crazy. But with Guts, it's like, yo, my life before the apocalypse wasn't that bad, right? Even if you look at Vinland Saga, Vinland Saga, which is super popular by the way, Thorfinn's dad is this guy who is one of the strongest fighter in the world, and his whole perception is don't fight. And if you look at season 2, Thorfinn fought too much and he has PTSD and he doesn't want to fight anymore, which is what the father was trying to tell him, to teach him. But there's more than that. There's a lot more than that. So Homer Simpson comes in and he's this dumbass, right? But to me, if you look at American Dad, he's a dumbass. If you look at Family Guy, he's a dumbass. But Homer Simpson, to me, is this dad that is kind of perfect. He doesn't know what to do. So he tried his best. Like, for example, with Bart, right? He is very strict with Bart, but when Bart does something that he fucks up or something that's funny, Homer is laughing, Or with Lisa, there's this episode where they both into Harry Potter and they read Harry Potter. See, Homer is the flawed dad, the dad that doesn't really know what's up, the dad that's kind of clumsy, the dad that doesn't really know how to talk to his children. He's a bit awkward to be around, but he's trying. He's trying. And this can be a bit more sexual than, sexes, more than reality. But when you see, I was talking about how the dad are often portrayed as this character that's stupid. The moms, they always seem as this character that has everything under control. Like, hey, you got, and it's just, amazing because Omer's trying. Do I think that Marge is doing a better job at teaching the kid? Absolutely. I think Marge is a much better parent than Omer. But Marge, for me, I look at Marge and I'm like, okay, well, this is natural for her. She's not really putting in the effort. It just comes to her. She's just talented. Omer's putting the effort, and I respect somebody that's putting the effort more than a person that doesn't put in the effort. So yeah, I'm gonna go with movie, show-wise. I think Rick Grimes from Walking Dead. I think he's a phenomenal father, but I'm gonna have to go with the Rick Grimes that is from the comics. So Rick Grimes, why he's so good at being a father is see, it's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy because even when you look at the show, right, the first episode is Rick and Lori having a fight, right, and it's beautiful. I'm gonna get emotional because Rick Grimes to me is the perfect picture father, and they have this fight, right, and you can see Rick getting emotional. He's really emotional, and he's not emotional because he needs to be emotional. He talks about how his wife fought with him, and the emotional doesn't come from the wife fighting him. It comes from the son seeing it. She said it in front of Carl. She said, even when you're around, lately it feels like even when you're around, you're not around. And Ricky said, she said that in front of Carl. From my son, I would never, I would never say that in front of Carl, right? So you don't really have an idea of how Rick was as a father, right? Lori says that he wasn't the best father. However, I'm sorry to say, but was Lori the best? I don't know. I don't know if Lori was a... See, this is so hard. Was Lori a good parent? Yes. Did she protect Carl? Absolutely. There's a scene that is so fucking emotional. Rick's come back to the camp, and Lori and Carl is there, and Carl's run to Rick because he missed his father, right? It's a beautiful moment, and Lori, she's trying to grab Carl. Why? Not because she doesn't want Rick to see his son, but because she thinks that it's just a random dude. It's just a random dude that is looking like Rick. So she doesn't want Carl to get hurt, right? Rick Grimes, in my opinion, is the best father, and it's actually really simple. When you wanna, if you were to ask me why is Rick Grimes such a good father, it's actually really, really, really simple. See, it all depends on how you see a father. Give me a quick second. Okay, this is good because lately, because we need to upload often. Nature corn. Yeah, we need to upload. I'm telling you, the Wi-Fi is so good right now. However, it comes at a price. If I'm not constantly uploading, then there is large amount of time where I'm not filming, and there's a large amount of time when I'm not filming. It's bad because you're like, dude, you're out of content to film. So what's the point of having a good Wi-Fi that I can upload well if you can't upload, So it's a lot of work. So with Rick, it does feel like he is the dad that stepped up. He is absolutely the dad that steps up. Do I think... I kind of would have liked to see the relation that they had before. I kind of would like to see Rick and Carl before. There's love for sure. But I don't know. Because the beauty So why we're gonna be talking about Rick the most because he's my favorite father in the whole of history. See, Carl is a badass because his father taught him to be a badass, not because he wanted to be a badass. Carl, I'm sorry to say, I'm so sorry to say, but if you look at season 1, I think to season 3, which is the prison where they find his silencer and a gun, he's a fucking pussy. He's a little pussy because he's a kid, which is normal, and then kind of becomes a badass, you know. Carl Carl is such an interesting character, you know. Carl is picture perfect of what you want in the apocalypse. So I think to understand the relationship between Rick and Carl, let's look at Walking Dead, right? And I'm gonna be honest. You know what? When I first thought about making this video, my favorite father was not Rick Graham. The favorite father would possibly be on TV. I don't know. That's so rough. That's so rough. On TV, I do really like Ned Stark. Ned Stark was a really really good character. But it's more than that. So with Rick Graham, you have to understand the world, the apocalypse, right? Carl is the picture perfect of what you want. Carl is old enough when the apocalypse starts. He's old enough to have a consciousness of what's going on. He has a consciousness of the world before him. But then he doesn't have a consciousness of that much. Like Judith, when she's born, when she's the second kid of Rick and Lori. Well, Shane and Lori, but you know what I mean. By the way, the comic she's dead. And I think this is more important in the comic because in the comics, the fact that Judith just died, it just pushes Rick to be a better father, you know, towards Carl. And it's tougher. It's a lot tougher. You think my knee as a table spot? It's round. This is round. Why not? See, Judith didn't have a perception of the world before, you know, and Rick is a great father to a person. And I know people love Daryl, and I love Daryl. I like Daryl, but I prefer Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus as such a charisma to him. I think one of the two most mysterious men, in my opinion, are possibly Norman Reedus and Matt Mickelson. Yes, I just watched Death Stranding, but still, not the movie. The cutscenes. I watched a compilation of the cutscenes on YouTube. It's just. See, Daryl had kind of like shitty big brother. Daryl's story is actually really sad. Hey, don't worry. It still has a lot to do with Rick Grimes. Daryl's story is really sad. I'm gonna go in because I want to charge the phone a little bit. If you don't mind, of course. Daryl's story is I have this shitty big brother, but he's all I have because my parents are super shitty. My bigger brother being the only thing that I have, I'm gonna latch on my bigger brother. Rick saw a dude that generally had a good heart, genuinely thought that he just wasn't given the chance to grow into a good person. There's this expression, this person is good at heart. Daryl was good at heart, but was living in a world where... So, this is also from a show that I fucking love, which is Banshee. Banshee, later seasons are about two brothers, right? And their father was beating them up. And they were looking for protection, so they joined a group of white supremacists, which are the KKKs. And he goes in. He doesn't have protection. So the older brother hates the KKKs. Like, dude, these are a bunch of racists. I fucking hate them. However, they offer protection to my little brother. And my little brother needs it. So what am I supposed to do here? You know? So he's like, okay, well, guess what? If this is what I have to do, this is what I have to do. So then he leaves. And then when he leaves, he realizes how wrong they are. But now the brother's part of him, and the brother believes in it. You know? Daryl joined see, a place like the Claimers is a perfect example. They're not good people, but they're a group of people that Daryl was willing to follow because it meant safety. Rick was also a good brother to Daryl. Why is that important? because it was a good bigger brother to Daryl's, which does imply that there's leadership. To me, being a father is a bit of leadership. It's a bit of, but this is my personal experience. My father was the the mean parent. My father was the strict parents. My mom was the cool parents for sure. My father needs to do that, you know. So Rick Grimes, once again, he shows up and he tells Daryl like, "I got you, bro. I got you. I know you." And it's such a sad thing because it's not I got you because there is some love between them, but it does feel like Rick, I got you, is more so I know that you need someone, and I'll be that someone. You know, there's love for sure, but yeah, you know, Daryl and I love Daryl so much, but he's a stray. And when you think about a stray, I think about a dog, and I'm not meaning this in any negative fashion. I think about a dog that has learned to survive in the wild and is doing super well and is thriving. But there's still something that he could learn, and Rick is there to teach him. But coming back to Carl and Rick, Rick loses in the comics. He loses Judith. I'm not losing Carl, so he becomes an asshole. And the way he's teaching Carl and is fucking phenomenal. So in the show, he's willing to do so much for Carl. Like for example, when the prison gets destroyed by the what's his name, the governor. Rick only grabs Carl, not because he doesn't like other people, but fuck other people. My son comes first. In the comic, there's a scene that is so. I mean, this scene is fucking. This scene will bring, and you know what? It's a violent scene, but it's a Father Day scene. Trust me. There's a scene where we got Abraham and Rick, and so technically what's going on is Abraham. So Abraham was suicidal before he met Eugene. Eugene was like, "Hey, soldier, I need a soldier." So Abraham was like, "Fuck me, greater good. I'm fighting for my country." So he goes in, and he's like, "Okay, well, this is nuts. This is such a good story too." He goes in, he's like, "Okay, well, this is rough." But he still have mental issues because he's still depressed, and then he's becoming dangerous. He doesn't follow the rules. The only reason why he doesn't attack people is because Rosita is like, "No, please don't do it." So Rick sees that and says, Ricky sees Abraham being like a rebel, like being a problem. So I'm gonna have a one-on-one. I'm gonna be able to measure the guy, and if I can put him in, if I have to take care of him, I have to take care of him. If I don't, I can still like, I'm gonna give him a chance, but I want to do one-on-one with him, which is the leadership, which is really fucking good. And then they go to a place, and that place is not safe. It's a bridge, and there's people that are there, and it's surrounding Rick and Abraham. And they're talking about how you need to pay a toll, you need to pay a toll, you need to pay a toll. And then they fucking see Carl's, and they said, "Your young boy is looking great." So then they want to rape Carl. Now this is the craziest Rick has been in the comics. Rick literally goes to one of them. He bites the Adam apple, and he takes it off with his teeth, and he does some horrible shit. And he's like, he asks Abraham to hide the eyes of Carl. Carl said, "No, I want to see it. I want to see it." This is, fuck this. I want to go out. It's night outside. Let's go out. It's one of the most powerful scenes. You see? And because we went out, we have this, which is, because the phone is too hot. It's not a problem, but still. It's a little bit of a problem, but it's not a big problem. So Rick literally, he tortured those people. He really tortures them. He really tortures them. And such a great scene because he asks Abraham, and Abraham sees this, and Abraham, and this is the crazy part. It takes Rick being kind of like a monster to make Abraham tell him about his story. So Abraham, when the apocalypse started, he had his wife, and he had, I don't remember if he had a kid. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure though. And And he was living into a supermarket, and they had food and they were safe. It was a really good place to be. I don't remember if there was a greenhouse, something like that, right? And they're super fucking cool. So then, what happened is, the people there's criminals, and they rape his wife. So at first, he doesn't know, right? He doesn't know. And then when he learned that he raped his wife, he goes in and he killed the rapist. And then they're like, fuck you. You think you kill people, you broke the rules. Go out, leave. And the craziest thing is, even though the wife was raped, she's like, Abraham, this is safe. This is survival for me and the kids. Go. So she leaves him behind. And this guy who sacrificed his whole entire life for them is being pushed out, you know? And Rick, being a monster, he tells that story. And then Rick, he's talk about how he would do anything he wants to protect Carl. And this I'm getting emotional because this made me fucking cry when I watched it. When I first read it, I fucking cried for, I want to say a good 20 minutes. I'm not even joking. I wish I was. It made me cry for a good 20 minutes. So in the comic, what happened is, it's very different than the show. So what happened is, Shane is the same thing actually. Same thing but different ending. Shane is being, he's not agreeing with Rick, and Shane is constantly saying to the group, hey, don't listen to him, listen to me. So he's constantly being a problem. And then Rick, so Shane, like just like in the theory, he's like, okay, well, if you before you were here, I was a captain of this group, and I had Lori. Now that you're here, I'm nothing. Fuck you. And Shane goes into, he has his shotgun, and he points at Rick, and he's like, fuck you, forget it. Now, this is the most important part. This is the crazy part. So the whole of Walking Dead is about Rick leaving this sanity. See, the beauty of Walking Dead, the concept that really made us, not me, but us, fall in love with the show. Give me a sec. Okay, good. Good. Got blocked by someone. Got blocked by someone. I don't know why. Kind of sucks, but hey. That's life, I guess. Ow. So, the whole principle of Walking Dead is he's a cop. He's supposed to enforce law. And he's like, yo, I'm going to enforce law, and it's going to be my way or the highway. And then, as more as the world goes in and the world goes to shit, he's like, I don't know if I can enforce law. I don't know if I can put in the law in places, right? What am I supposed to do here? I just don't know. And it's tough. It's tough. It is tough. Because you don't know how to do it. You don't know what to do. The whole thing that you question the law is beautiful. But it's at the very first, the beginning. Shane and Rick point guns at each other. The thing is, Rick would have not shot. Shane would have shot. So Carl goes in, and to save his dad, he shoots Shane, which he loves. And then they're talking about the story and how they had to hurt people that they care about. And Rick talks about, the farm and having to see people that he loved being transformed. Abraham tells the story about the grocery store. And you think that Carl is sleeping. But Carl says, he talks about Shane and how he felt to kill Shane. And the craziest thing in the comics, and this is like chapter 3, and he says, Dad, it doesn't feel like killing the dead one. And Rick's like, it should never feel like killing it should never feel like killing the dead one. So yeah, so this is a really, really powerful moment. Really powerful. Really powerful. It's just something that you kind of have to embrace, you know. So the whole time, and it's just the sacrifices. For example, of course, you have the leadership and the fact that they go on the road and they have to be carried by Alexandria, and they need him, and there's food, and there's like, no, there's food for your daughter. You eat the fucking food for my daughter before she eats it, so he doesn't poison the kid. But in the comic, there's a scene that is amazing. So in the comics, this is really weird because in the comics, Rick has three girlfriends. He has Andrea, which is still alive. He has Michelle. No, he has a girl. I don't remember her name. I think she has Jess, but I'm not sure. And he has Lori. So he lost Lori, and then years later, he finds a girl called Jess in Alexandria. Her husband is very he's violent. She doesn't love him. He falls in love with her. They have this relationship, right? And they have this relationship, and Jess gets bitten. So what happened is Alexandria is surrounded by walls. The walls get knocked down by a walker, or by a group of walkers, technically a herd of walker. And Jess is getting bit, and she's holding Carl, and and they're in a relationship. At this point, they're in a relationship, and you see the mess, and he covered himself in guts, just like he did with Glenn in season 1. And then they move in, and then he says, Carl, let's go. And she said, Dad, she's not letting go. And at this point, she's kind of still, you know. So I lied. I don't know. I don't think she was bitten. I think it's her son that was bitten, her second son that was bitten. And she doesn't see it as getting bitten. She see him, it's still my baby boy. She doesn't let go. Rick takes a hatchet and cut off the hands of his girlfriend to free Carl. It me as a father. It's just great. It is just great. But it's also one of the powerful scenes as a dad is Rick gets really fucking sick. Really fucking sick. You see that in the show too. And Carl is supposed to keep the house, and he's really worried. He's really, really, really worried. And he's like, okay, well, I don't know if I can kill those walkers. So whenever the walker gets too close to home, Carl will go out and lure them out. He will lure them, and he's afraid. And he's like, Dad, wake up! I need you! I need you! I need you! Why did you abandon me? Right? And he hates his father. It's like, I hate you. And then Rick wake up, and Carl was so good. He was so good, and the first thing that Rick says is, "Thanks for protecting us." You know, it's a beautiful moment. Rick Graham wins Father of the Year, for sure, for sure. Anyway, I love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.